So now we are starting with the most important topic, that is ethics. Ethics, yes, you have to do it at the end. Why? In the revision point of view also, you have to do it at the end so that you're fresh with all the 7 standards, all the 7 code of conducts and the substandards. There are 22 substandards. So that needs to be very much fresh. Because when you go to the exam, the highest number of questions that you get is related to ethics. So you have highest weightage of around 15 to 20%. So you will have on an average 30, 35 questions, 36 questions also to a larger extent. This constitutes your major part of the first morning part of the session, where you have 90 questions. And of that, imagine around 36 questions are going to be from ethics. Many students, when they start doing the exam, they directly start with ethics and spend a lot of time. And then they struggle to complete the exam. In that regards, I will tell you also, when you do mocks, again, at that time, I will suggest you, but still, when you do mocks, you can begin the mock in the same flow as the mock comes up. But sometimes if you feel you're very slow and you're getting stressed in completing the ethics, because in ethics, you have to think and read everything carefully. So what many students do, which I will recommend you, is that you can skip ethics and do rest of the topics and then leave at least, let's say if there are 30 questions, you can leave around 45 minutes to 50 minutes for ethics at the end. This way also you can strategize. Okay. So that's a tip. Now, when we begin to ethics, everything in ethics is important and you cannot discount it. So that's why in the revision book, I've precised the summary and I'll do questions all the reading wise. The first 2 readings are basics about ethics in the investment profession. What is the need of ethics and all? What is the committee of the CFA Institute? What are the actions that they take? And then the third reading is where we have all the 7 standards, code of conduct and substandards, 22. That's where we discuss all the standards in detail. And then the fourth reading is about GIPS, Global Investment Performance Standard. And the last reading, ethics application, is actually nothing but, an extension of the third reading, which talks about different examples. So there's not a separate reading. It's just an extension of the different case studies. That is ethics application. So basically, there are only 4 readings. Let's start with the first one. Here, what is the meaning of ethics? Very important. Many people skip this, but that is also being tested in the exam. Okay. So ethics is a set of shared beliefs by everyone about what is a good or acceptable behavior and what is a bad or unacceptable behavior. Good and acceptable, bad and what is unacceptable. That behavior about the shared belief, that is ethics. So it is a behavior that follows moral principles and is consistent with the society's ethical expectations. All these keywords are very essential. They are tested in the exam. Okay. These stakeholders includes clients of professional. We are focusing on the ethics from the investment point of view, co-workers, employees, and the investment profession as a whole. So here, when I'm talking about ethics, we are talking ethics from the professional investment point of view, right? Now, therefore, this shared beliefs can be unlimited, right? So the CFA Institute has set up a standard code of ethics. However, every companies under the corporate governance do have their own code of ethics also. So what is the role of code of ethics? It is basically defining what is an acceptable behavior in that environment, and it is a set of written moral principles. So it's a document of what is acceptable and unacceptable behavior, right? So it's like a guidance which gives to all the employees and people associated with that particular profession as to what is acceptable and what is unacceptable behavior. So that guidance is called role of that guidance is called code of ethics. Clear? Now, why do we need ethical standards? Why do we need ethical standards? First of all, there has been many scams in the past, of course, in every industry, but in our industry of investment professionals, we have a much higher responsibility because people trust us with their investments, right? So any failure with respect to ethical manner here is going to damage not only the client's wealth and investment, but the overall industry. People will not trust, they will not give us the capital, and that lack of trust for the financial advisors or consultants will eventually create the lack of capital, raising the cost of capital. So if people find that there are a lot of unethical practices, raising money becomes difficult in the environment, in that particular capital market. And this is where the cost of capital is high. So we all know that emerging markets are more transparent unethical or developed markets? Developed markets are generally said to be more transparent, more tightly regulated. So they are more ethical in that sense. And therefore, the cost of borrowing there is relatively lower. Understood? But inefficient markets or unethical markets where the cost of borrowing is relatively higher. Now, we are here financial professionals. We have financial professionals are expected to have these two essential things. What are the standards related to financial professionals? Suitability standard means this is something inherent. We are expected to match the client's risk return and accordingly suggest them what is suitable to them, suitable to their risk return objectives or characteristics or constraints. So even if the client doesn't say, we have to recommend the client only that is suitable to the client's characteristics, right? Risk return requirements. That is, even if the client doesn't say. Second, beyond this, we have a fiduciary standard. Here, we are expected to use our best knowledge and expertise, even if the client doesn't say. And our goal is to act in the best interest of client. Client is a priority. Now, here, by client, I mean, for example, suppose I'm working for a pension fund, right? I'm managing money for my pension fund. So my pension fund company, that pension fund company is my client, but who are the beneficiaries of that pension? The employees. The employees are the beneficiaries of the pension. So my fiduciary responsibility is also towards the end users, that is the employees. So fiduciary standard means my responsibility is not only towards the management who's giving me the task, but also to the end beneficiary. Are you getting this? That is called fiduciary responsibility, and added, it's an, something that is expected out of you. Clear? The word fiduciary, right? Now, why is there a need of code of ethics, right? First of all, there have been many scams in the past, right? And the investment professionals, they have an illusion that they think that I have done nothing wrong. So the reasons of why we have an ethical code of conduct, this is related to the challenges that ethics faces. First, what is the challenge? Individuals tend to overrate their ethical behavior. They probably think that they are ethical on a relative basis. They at least have a rationalization point that I'm better than others. I'm much more ethical. They don't realize it, what is unethical behavior, because they think ethics is just law, and ethics is not law always, right? External or situational influence. Yes, sometimes you are in a social environment where your influence around you is forcing you to do unethical activities, are more important in determinant of ethical quality of a behavior than internal traits. So what is your nature is secondary, but how situation around you is, that creates more unethical behavior. Understood? One of the situational influence is social pressure. So social pressure causes people to, have a status symbol, and then they may end up into, doing unethical behavior, right? Too much strict rules, also too much of compliance or strict rules. For example, some of the countries have extreme rigid tax. So because of that excessive tax, they do what? They try to find all the sources through which they can save taxes, and they may end up doing unethical behavior. So too much strict rule-based compliance also leads to unethical behavior. Got it? Now, one thing that they frequently asked in exams, something that I've always seen, is the difference between ethics and legal. See, legal is clearly documented. What is right, what is wrong, what is illegal, what is legal, right? That is as per the law. But ethics is beyond that. So not all unethical actions are illegal. What do I mean by that? For example, say insider trading. Everyone knows what is insider trading. Now, even if that is allowed in the country, even if that is legal, that is considered unethical. So something that is unethical might also be legal. So not all unethical actions are illegal. So basically, this is not about insider trading. I will say this is not all illegal actions are unethical. What do I mean by that, guys? I'll repeat, not all unethical actions are illegal. So As I said, insider trading is unethical, but that might not be illegal. So should I still do it? No, you have a much higher responsibility. You should not be doing it. Between legal and ethical, ethics is much more higher than legal. So insider trading, even if it is not illegal, I should still not be doing it because it is unethical. Similarly, not all illegal actions are unethical. For example, I'm protesting against a civil disobedience. This civil disobedience is about saving, let's say, forest. Okay, so I'm trying to save trees and plants and I'm protesting for it. Not political, okay? Civil disobedience for related to, let's say, some nature or something. Now, those might be considered illegal, but that is not unethical. I'm not cheating on something, right? So that is called, so there's a difference between what is illegal and what is unethical, right? Ethics is one step ahead. Ethics are often a higher standard of behavior than laws and regulations. So basically, something which is not covered under law and regulations can also be ethical. Some serious unethical behaviors have pushed stricter laws in the capital market. There are various laws. For example, the Glass-Steagall Act, which was enacted in 1933 after the Great Depression, Sarbanes-Oxley Act that was enacted after the Enron scandal, and Dodd-Frank Act, which was done after the 2008 financial crisis. These are some of the acts which put more vigilance, which put more responsibility on the auditors and others to ensure that there is less of unethical behavior, but no one can stop the scams. Overall, ethical decisions require more judgment. Okay, it's not something written and black and white, and considerations of the impact of behavior on many stakeholders compared to legal decisions. So see, the conclusion is that if your actions are going to have a disadvantage to any of the stakeholders, then it is considered unethical. Clear? Right? Let us do some question on this topic before we move to the next topic, everyone. So I've pulled out some of the questions specifically to this. Let's do that. Which of the following statements about legal and ethical standard is most accurate? Illegal acts are always unethical? No. Illegal acts means civil disobedience. Is it always unethical? No. Some illegal acts are considered ethical. Well, illegal can never be ethical. No, it can be, right? Some of the illegal, as I said, see, A and B are contradictory statements. Some of the illegal acts, as I said, protesting against civil disobedience might be considered illegal, but that doesn't mean it is unethical, right? Third, unethical acts are always illegal. No. See, the word sounds very confusing. What is the correct answer, everyone in the class? B. Some illegal acts can be considered ethical also, as I said about civil disobedience, right? Standards of conduct are most accurately described as a necessary part of any ethical code, giving members or a group minimum level of acceptable behavior. See the keywords, okay? Providing the public with values and general expectations for a group of professionals. Is it a general expectation? No. Basically, see, code of conduct, it tells me what is acceptable behavior or what is unacceptable behavior. So look out for the keyword. The keyword is minimum level of acceptable behaviors. That is what the standards of conduct is. That's why I told students many times, while I'm doing this, while we are doing this, what is essential for you to understand is that these keywords are very essential. These keywords, acceptable behavior, that is ethics. Okay. Challenges most likely arise from internal or external influence. From external influence, right? External influence are situational, social pressure. So arise from inadequate training, internal motivation, or situational influence. The word is situational influence, which is basically social behavior around you, right? That is going to be more influence. That is the biggest challenge to ethics. Unethical behavior by financial professionals harm only clients and other employees, only clients, other employees, and society. It harms everyone, right? So the answer is C. C is more accommodative. It harms everyone. Clear? Fifth one, very interesting. Which of the following best describes elements of a framework of ethical decision making? So when you're making ethical decisions, right, this is something very in-depth. First, identify relevant facts, consider influences and alternatives, and decide and act and reflect on outcomes. Now, see, many students might say, Kunal, I don't remember this. Fine. But see, B and C, relevance, faithful representation, transparency, these are actually not related to ethics. These are the qualities of financial reporting. So these are the essential qualities of financial reports. Next, state the objective, gather the process, interpret the data. Does it ring bell? These are actually steps in financial statement analysis. So this B and C are related to financial statements or financial reporting. So what is related to ethics is A. The B and C, they have pulled it out from FSA. Those are the steps of FSA, not ethics. Got my point? Understood? Right? Okay. Now, let us understand the second topic. The second topic basically is just an introduction of what is going to come up in ethics. It's in two parts. In the second part, they have discussed what is mandatory in code of ethics and what are the 7 standards. We're going to understand the 7 standards later. But here, what is the role of CFA Institute with respect to the code of ethics under their structure? Now, if you understand in financial statements, who prepares the financial statements? The accounting standard boards, that is the standard setting bodies. So standard setting bodies, they prepare the financial standards, reporting standards like IFRS or US GAAP. So they prepare the standards, IFRS or US GAAP, and those are enforced by the regulators like SEC, isn't it? So standard setting bodies, they prepare the financial standards. The standards are IFRS or US GAAP, and those are enforced by the regulators. Same way, the CFA Institute has a structure where the PCP, Professional Conduct Program, is covered by the CFA Institute bylaws and rules. So what is the rule? The standard here is called Professional Conduct Program. That is the standard. Who makes this rule? Who has the responsibility to make this rule? The CFA Institute Board of Governors. So Board of Governors are like the standard setting bodies. They have made these rules. But to enforce the rule, they have prepared a committee called Disciplinary Review Committee. Disciplinary Review Committee. These are the ones who are having the responsibility of what? Of enforcing the standards. So when suppose you or I or any of us do unethical behavior, I don't expect we to do that. So then we have to be dealt with the police here. The police is the regulator here, like SEC. Here we have disciplinary review committee. Understood, everyone? Now the CFA Institute PCP staff, number one, if they come across any unethical behavior, they will conduct an inquiry, right? But what are the circumstances that will lead them to do the inquiry? Number one, how will they get to know that there is some unethical behavior? There are various ways. First, self-disclosure by members. So as a member, every year when I renew my membership, we have to sign an annual professional conduct statement, annual PCP statement, right? Here we have to mention about any civil or criminal litigation or any written complaint on the unethical behavior that has to be disclosed. So that is number one way through which they get to know of any unethical behavior. Second is of any written complaints of a member or candidate by anyone from the professional conduct staff. So if they get by anyone to the professional conduct staff. So if the PCP staff gets any written complaint on the member or the candidate, that is second thing. Third, if they get evidence of any misconduct from the social media or any news articles, right? Fourth, a report by CFA exam proctor, that is on the exam, the examiner on the exam date. If they come across any violation, they can also conduct the inquiry. And the ones who are going to review your exams, if they find any violation in the exams, questions that you've solved, or you have shared that information on the social media, that will also prompt or give them the hint of the unethical behavior. Once they get the unethical behavior information, what they do is that they do the inquiry. So the first thing is that what circumstances give them information. The second is, how does their inquiry happen? So imagine now they got this information through the previous 5 cases I discussed, and then they will do what? They will start beginning their inquiry. The professional conduct staff will start beginning their inquiry and may request in writing an explanation from the member or candidate that is under the inquiry. How would they do that? They might also interview the subject matter or candidate or the complainant or any third party which has given information, right? And they might collect documents and records as per their investigation. So this is how they conduct the inquiry. They might interview the subject matter or the candidate who's in question, or the one who has passed the information, or the complainer, or they might collect the evidences. Once they get the evidence, then they may make up a report, and based on that report, they might come up with some actions. So what are the actions that they take? If they find any unethical behavior, they will take action. If there is no unethical behavior, no disciplinary sanctions may be taken. But if they find anything unethical, they will issue a cautionary letter if it is not crucial, if it is not material, or if it is not substantial. However, in cases when it is extreme that they will decide, they might discipline the member or candidate. When I say discipline, means they will debar. They will, the maximum they cannot put you behind bars. They can do what? They can pull you out from the program. So this is what their action will be. But like any other judicial system where I can, challenge the action, if they do any actions, so what if they come across any violation, they will take the disciplinary sanction against the member. But what right does the member has? The member or the candidate can accept it or reject the sanction. If you reject the sanction, then it goes to a higher committee, that is the disciplinary review committee panel of CFA Institute for hearing. If they also find it that it is unethical, then they might put sanction on you, including condemnation of the members' peers. Means they might put up this information across the industry that this guy has done unethical behavior, or they might, in the extreme case, suspend you from the participation in the program. Okay, so this is the action they might take, and you can challenge that action, and then it goes to the higher authority, that is the disciplinary review panel. Once they come up with the action, that is the final action. Got it? Overall, CFA code of members of CFA Institute, all those who are members means those who have passed CFA, or those who are even candidates of the CFA designation, including those who are giving the exams. All of you, it applies to not only members who have passed or have taken membership, but also those who are enrolled in the program. They should, number one, okay, they should act with integrity, competence, diligence, respect, and in ethical manner with all public prospective clients, everyone. Integrity, competence, diligence, respect, and in the ethical manner. Sometimes you have to recollect all this information, right? You have to behave with everyone in the same manner. Place the integrity of investment profession and interest of client above. That is second. Use reasonable care and exercise judgment while you're making the investment decision, as in it's your own decision. Fourth, participate and encourage others also to participate or practice professional behavior. And fifth, promote the integrity and variability across your peers or in the overall market. Promote the ethical behavior. It's your responsibility to promote it. Not only encourage others to practice, but also promote that behavior. And finally, maintain and improve professional competence. Forever, as much as you are in this industry, you have a responsibility to maintain a high professional standards, right? So that the others also feel competitive to maintain that standards. For this, the CFA Institute has 7 standards and 22 substandards, which we will be seeing one by one in the next topic, right? So let us do some questions with regards to this particular reading, and then we can jump onto the different standards, everyone. So the first component of code of ethics least likely states that the CFA Institute member should act with, see, the first one itself says act with integrity, competence, diligence, respect, and in ethical manner. So they are saying which one is least likely? Solemnity and in ethical manner, competence and respect, integrity and diligence. What is one word which is not correct here? Which you didn't see it there? Where it is solemnity. Solemnity means serious. seriousness. Does the code of conduct say that you have to be very serious? No, it doesn't say. Okay, so that one word is an issue here. Clear? See, they are so specific about a particular word, right? According to code of ethics, the professional judgment of a member should be very easy. Look out for the keyword. Member's judgment should be consistent with the regulatory guidelines, always confirmed by a degree of accredited educational institution. We didn't hear it. It should be independent. Independent means not having any conflict of interest or influenced, right? The word is independent. Your judgment, professional judgment should be independent, not influence. You should remember that they said use reasonable care and exercise judgment, professional judgment. Use reasonable care and exercise professional, independent professional judgment. So that independence is what related to professional judgment is. Got it? See how niche things that they ask. Okay, very specific. Third, CFA Institute standards of professional conduct are most accurately described as based on, this is something that was not there in the notes, but I've added this question. I found it very interesting. These codes are based on code of ethics, accepted legal standard, the best interest of members and candidates. What this professional conduct, what are they called as? Code of ethics, isn't it? Answer is A. Not in the best interest of member and candidates. They are not just meant for the best of the member and candidates. In fact, they are made for the best of everyone, right? Why would only be made for the best of members and candidates? So they are called code of ethics. The CFA standards are called as code of ethics. The CFA professional conduct that we have, that it's like a book. That book is called code of ethics, right? Okay. Next, this is very interesting. The CFA Institute Professional Conduct Program may impose sanction on whom? CFA chartered holders, yes. Candidates, yes. B, only CFA chartered holders, no. C, chartered holders, member firms, and candidates. Which is the correct answer? Everyone? Yes, yes, yes. It's A. Why? Because the professional conduct program can only put sanctions on individuals, whether they are members or candidate. It cannot put sanction on a firm. It does not have the authority to put sanction on the company. Okay, only individuals, whether they are members or they are in the candidate, they are in the program. It cannot put a sanction on the entire company. Understood? Clear? Which of the following is a component of code of ethics? CFA Institute members shall use a particular care in determining applicable fiduciary responsibility, not knowingly participate or assist in any violation of laws, rules, or regulations, use reasonable care and exercise independent professional judgment. See, here in ethics, the other choices might not be wrong, but you should always, the technique is that you should always look at the words that you are familiar with. Use reasonable care and independent professional judgment. So A and B are nothing wrong, but again, what is more correct is what you have to look in ethics. In ethics, the technique of choosing the choices is different from all other topics. In all other topics, you get the answer, you connect it. In ethics, you have to read all the choices. The first couple of the choices that you are not selecting might not be wrong. The incorrect ones doesn't mean that they are wrong, but the correct one is more holistic. It's more comprehensive. So again, A and B are nothing wrong here. There's nothing wrong with A and B, but C is more precise. So the strategy of solving questions in ethics is different from all other topics. Okay, understood? This I've explained in much more detail in my actual lectures. In the revision, I'm just again telling you that the way you pick up the choices is very different in ethics compared to other topics. Clear? Right? Now we will go one by one into the standards of professional conduct. Okay, till this point, everyone clear? Any questions? Right? Okay, thank you.